Here I'm going to show you how to set up your views for your ventral gun in the Boston 3. So I've just taken off and climbed to about 1,000 feet with drones up with me. So there they are back there. And I'm going to hit the number 3 key, and now I'm at my new ventral gun position in the Boston. And you can see that as you pull your gun up, it gets blocked, your gun sight does, by that the hatch that's raised there. Your gun still fires, so but you can't see what you're shooting at there. Now, of course, if you depress your gun a little bit, you can. But it's really important in bombers and aces high to be able to see directly at your 6 o'clock position level. That's where a lot of fighters will choose to come in and fire at you if they can. Now here's an interesting thing in the Boston. Notice that I can't see directly back right here, but if I use my page up and page down and arrow keys for head movement, I can move my head down and, potentially over or wherever, and I can see directly back there. So here's what I do. I go back to my default view here, and what I do is I get a little piece of the sticky part from a post-it note. I pick one that's clear so I can actually partially see through it. Just a little tiny speck of a post-it note that's maybe, I don't know, a couple millimeters wide or something like that, a little speck of it. And I put it right here, right on the center of my gun sight. So I have a little tiny bit of sticky right there, sticky post-it note, right there on the middle of my screen. And I use post-it note because that'll come off easily and it won't leave residue. If you use tape like Scotch tape or other tape, I'm afraid it might leave residue, but a post-it note doesn't leave residue as far as I can tell. And it's a little tiny speck. So I just put it right on there. And what happens is when I move my view around like this, that little speck that I put on the screen is now the center of my firing. So it's as good as a gun sight. And it would be like if you took that gun that you're looking at right there and rotated its gun sights around or what have you. You can move it like this, or you can move it once you have your speck there all the way down like that. You can move it wherever you think you get the best field of view. And then that little speck is the center of your gun sight. So now I can see directly behind me. I can fire directly behind me and see directly behind me. Whereas with the default view like this, I cannot quite fire directly behind me. So that's what I do. I put my little speck right there, and then move my head around. I'm gonna pick there actually, I think. Well, which do I like better? I think I like that better. Okay, I'm going to save that with F10. And if you don't like it and want it to go back, just hit your home key and it goes back to default, and hit F10 again and save it. But for me right now, right there, sort of in the middle of that open spot is what I see. Now another thing that you can do to check all of this out, let me hop back to the cockpit here and turn my plane to the south, directly heading south. I'm going to keep my drones with me so I won't turn too sharply. Turned a little sharp, I'll level out and then continue continue my turn to the south. Okay, coming around to the south. The compass, gyro compass is down here. I'm going to come around directly south. There we go. Jump to my number 3 position. There we go. And I'm going to do a .target command, which looks like this. There's a target at 400 yards from me. And so you can see right now, I can see directly to my 6 very well. And if I bring my ventral gun all the way to its up position, it's actually at the top of the center ring. So if I zoom all the way in here, I can hit a little bit above that center ring. So you can hit directly to your 6, which is really important. Of course, you can hit downwards and, you know, side to sides as well. But right about there is where I have my little sticky that's centered. It's right here. That's where my sticky is. And let's see what happens when I shoot. So it's about on target. It's my little sticky is about right there, and center of hitting is about right there. So a little bit low, but it is 400 yards out, not 300 or 200. So there's maybe a little drop, but that works really well. So I can see an enemy coming in here on my 6 and get right on him with my little speck. Whereas again, if I had been at the default position, I can't quite see that 6 o'clock. I can shoot at it, but I can't see it unless I move my head down, and then all this apparatus is in the way. You can do it that way. You can adjust it so that your center is, you know, maybe here or something. But I like just the little sticky on my screen, and then it can be like that instead, and I get a very clear view of everything back there. No problem. So that's it. Here's the 2 position, by the way. This has a steel plate, which maybe obstructs your view. You can do the same thing if you like to move your view up like this, for example, and see better. You can. I'm not as worried about that, but I will play around maybe. You know, here at least I can see right along the gun sight. And that is it. That's how to adjust this, your ventral gun sight, so you can hit straight 6 o'clock.